If you're eating, enjoy your meal. I wish you a good day, that everything goes well, and enjoy the video. Get comfortable and pay attention to this story.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever heard the incredible legend of the 21st century Robin Hood? This is a guy known across the web as the Smiling Hacker. And honestly, his story sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. According to the internet lore that went completely viral, this guy stole billions from wealthy institutions and gave every single penny to the poor, literally smiling fearlessly in the face of death when the establishment finally caught up with him. It is a wildly captivating narrative, right? But in this explainer, we're going to look at the hard evidence and ask ourselves a really important question. What is fact and what is pure fiction?
Section 1. The Hacker Myth, the Robin Hood of the Internet. To understand the reality here, we first have to understand the myth. And man, this myth spread like absolute wildfire across social media. Just listen to the exact text from one of these viral posts. He hacked 217 banks and made $4 billion. He donated everything to Africa and Palestine. The comments beneath these posts were just overflowing with praise. Social media users were hailing him as a true hero. One user passionately wrote that God sent an angel, and as always, the human race killed him. People genuinely truly believed he was martyred for trying to create a better, more equal world.
So it begs the ultimate question. Was he truly an internet hero? A modern-day digital savior taking from the rich and giving to the impoverished? Well, no. Absolutely not. Today, we're using verified data from AFP Factual to systematically deconstruct this legend piece by piece. We are going to separate those heavily romanticized rumors from the documented truth.
Section 2. The Real Criminal Identity, the facts behind the smile.
So the real man behind the moniker is Hamza Bendelaj, an Algerian hacker who operated under the alias BX1. And that famous, defiant smile that made him a viral sensation, it actually wasn't a heroic last stand before an execution. It was literally just his reaction during his arrest in Bangkok. The actual judicial timeline tells a completely different story from what you saw in the viral posts. In 2013, Bendelaj was arrested in Thailand, and that same year he was extradited to the United States. He was never sentenced to death by hanging. The real truth is, in 2016, a federal court in the state of Georgia sentenced him to 15 years in prison, followed by 3 years of probation. There was no execution, just the standard justice system doing its job.
And the crimes he actually went to prison for? They were far from a noble crusade against evil banks. Bendelaj co-created and operated a malware program called SpyEye, alongside a Russian hacker named Alexander Andreevich Panin. So what did SpyEye actually do? It was explicitly designed to automate the theft of your personal and financial information. Bendelaj sent out over 1 million spam emails packed with malicious plugins, and they were specifically designed to steal the online banking credentials, usernames, and passwords of regular, everyday people.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true scale of what we're talking about here. Based on data from the U.S. Department of Justice, SpyEye infected more than 1.4 million computers. He used his unauthorized access to steal the personal data of nearly 500,000 victims, compromising hundreds of thousands of credit cards. This was definitely not a victimless crime targeting massive, faceless banks. Everyday individuals suffered millions of dollars in total losses.
Now, you might remember a very specific number from that viral post, 217. They claimed he hacked 217 banks. Well, ironically, that specific number actually is a real metric confirmed by the judicial records. Bendelaj was indeed convicted of hacking exactly 217 bank accounts and financial companies worldwide. It's fascinating, isn't it? How a tiny kernel of truth can be twisted to legitimize a massive fabrication.
But he didn't just stop at stealing the data himself. He set up an entire dark web ecosystem to profit even more. Bendelaj managed a website called vcc.sc. This site was specifically built to automate the sale of stolen credit card information to other criminals all around the globe. He was essentially a wholesaler of stolen identities.
Section 3. The Fate of the Money. Where did the millions actually go?
We need to pivot to the most romanticized part of this whole myth, the supposed massive charitable donations. Did he actually send the stolen millions to charities in Africa and Palestine? Well, here is where the internet lore violently collides with the hard facts. The myth claims all funds went to charity, but the reality? He used the money to live an incredibly lavish lifestyle. According to AFP Factual and U.S. judicial documents, there is absolutely zero record, not a single trace, of any charitable donations made by Bendelaj.
In fact, we don't even have to guess where the money went, because the authorities told us directly. Listen to this quote from 2013 by Farnoo Kurd Lapfan, the Thai immigration police chief. Following the arrest, the chief reported, "When we asked him what he had done with the money, he said he had spent it on travel and a life of luxury, flying first class and staying in luxury places. The stolen funds were entirely squandered on his own extravagant lifestyle."
Section 4. The fake execution, the man in the photo. Now, we absolutely have to address the climax of the myth. This is the visual element that sparked the most outrage and shares online, the infamous photograph of the smiling man being hanged. If Bendalaj is sitting in a federal prison in the US, who is dying in that picture? So, the crucial point is this. The man in the viral hanging photograph is simply not Hamza Bendalaj. Through a reverse image search conducted by AFP Factual, the absolute truth came out. The photo is a complete and total misrepresentation. The man smiling in that devastating picture is actually an Iranian man named Majid Kavusafar.
Let's look at the true context of that photograph. Majid Kavusafar was an Iranian national who was publicly executed in Tehran on August 2, 2007. His crime? He and his nephew murdered a judge. Notice the date there, 2007. This execution happened 6 years before Bendalaj the hacker was even arrested in Thailand. The photograph completely predates the entire cybercrime saga and is entirely unrelated to it.
Which brings us to our final thought. You know, the story of the smiling hacker isn't really a story about cybercrime at all. It's a story about us. Why are we so incredibly eager to believe and share these fake internet heroes without doing a simple fact check? It really highlights the sheer danger of romanticizing internet rumors. We want so badly to believe in a modern-day Robin Hood fighting a corrupt system that we just ignore the hundreds of thousands of everyday victims whose privacy and finances were violated. As you leave this explainer, I challenge you to look at your social media feeds with a much more critical eye. The next time a story seems just a little too perfectly heroic to be true, it just might be.